Okay, everyone.
All right, great.
Welcome. Okay, Rhonda's back. Welcome. My name is Nancy Allen, if we haven't met virtually or face-to-face before, and I have the honor of serving as the Executive Director for the National Consortium for Health Science Education. And we do Wednesday webinars, and we do those about 2 to 4 times a month. And so by virtue of you registering for this webinar, you're now captured in our database, and we'll send you messaging about future webinars. We schedule them on Wednesday at 4. We know that's not perfect for the world, but we just try to accommodate 6 time zones as we can. But we always record them and we always archive them on our website, unless a presenter says, you know, I use this over and over for my own personal use. I think we did have one presenter that didn't allow us to archive that on our website. But generally we record them, archive them along with a PowerPoint and any accompanying materials that the presenter may have shared. Also, if you are interested in a certificate of participation, it's not a CEU, it's just 1 hour that documents your professional development. If that's something that is of value to you to include in your portfolio or whatever your district may require for you for registration, for documenting professional development, just email me. You have my email because I sent you all an email today to remind you about this event. You can email me, and then in about a week after I get everybody's request, if you're, for those folks that are able to attend live, then we do provide that professional development proof, and you can use that as works for you. So with that, I'm going to share my screen. Katrina's going to let me know if it's sharing. Is it there?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we're going to just, let me start this. Hold, please. All right. I got to figure out why am I not seeing it? I got so much going on
It's
over
down
here.
at the bottom. The present thing is down at the bottom.
Okay.
All right. It looks like a movie screen.
Yeah, it just was covered up by my. Okay, just a little bit about this resource that we created. Actually, it's been around for about 8 years, the Health Science Curriculum Enhancements, and we first developed them in 2012, and they were very popular and they were aligned to the health science standards at that time. And over those 8 years, we didn't do great refreshes of those. If we changed the standards slightly in any way or the objectives underneath those 11 foundational standards, we would go back and refresh this resource. When it first came out, it was a big, thick notebook, and then it shrunk to a CD, and then it shrunk to a flash drive. And now we're really high tech and it's downloadable from our online store. So when we refreshed and improved and revised the National Health Science Standards in May of 2019, we realized that the curriculum resource that we offered to teachers needed to align with those standards. And so we put out an RFP, or a request for proposal, and we were looking for educators who would be willing to take on this project. And so we released it in August of 2020. And when the RFP went out in the late fall of last year, those who were interested in being considered for the project submitted their RFP, and then we selected Katrina and Rhonda, who you'll meet here shortly, or if you haven't already met them. But it was so exciting for us to have a teacher who taught, Katrina will tell you a little bit, she teaches 100% in a virtual school. And then Rhonda teaches in a career and technology center, and they have different backgrounds, but they have lots and lots of experience with technology. And so over time, COVID came about, and it was like a perfect storm as Rhonda and Katrina realized that there were going to be teachers that really needed face-to-face resource as well as blended environment or complete online learning. So that's why we think it's really been a game changer, because it really speaks to all those different learning environments and has been a real support for teachers during this time. So these are just some of the things, some comments that teachers have made about the resource and how they've used it and how they love it because they didn't have time to create all this new material themselves. And they like the games and that drag and drop and all the virtual augmented reality that I think Katrina is going to spend a few minutes showing you about that today. So the resource, as I said, is aligned to the standards. We think that's important. We know that you all don't teach the exact same thing on the exact same day, but we do hope that you have your curriculum aligned to the National Health Science standards so that there's consistency across the nation. And what a student completes a program in North Dakota is similar to a student who completes a program in Texas. We think that hopefully we're preparing a post-secondary student that understands what they're getting into. On our website, we did provide the notation, like teachers wanted to know where were the changes for the standards. And so the notations that kind of crosswalk where the standards were and what we added, changed, or improved upon. All this is posted on.
I can hear you now.
We do crosswalk our standards to the Host of Competitive Events program. As I said, the standards were updated in 2019. There is a template on our website because sometimes teachers say, I don't know if I'm teaching all this. I don't know if I include all the National Health Science standards in the courses that I provide in my health science education program. So there's a template there where you can go in, it's a download, it's in Word, and you can see the standards and then you can put in your course and when you teach it, if that's of value to you. We also have some teachers who say, I don't know when to teach what. My state isn't very regulated. I'm not sure when to teach these standards. And so this spring we released a 4-course framework that kind of chunked the standards in a 1, 2, 3, 4 type of sequence, and that you'll find that in the resources section on our website as well. Just a little bit about the consortium. We've been around since 1991, and we are a partnership of health science state leaders and also publishers and resource providers, as well as professional organizations. And we do have a teacher arm, which is our largest category, the Health Science Educators Association. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on these because Katrina and Rhonda are really the experts, and they are teachers who developed this resource for teachers. And like we said, there's multiple uses in multiple settings. There's probably more content here than you'll ever be able to use, but we are extremely proud of this resource and really the compliments that we've gotten over the past 4 months since it's been.
That was on mute.
When you order it, or if you've ordered it, then you should have gotten an email with, oh, there's a misspelled word. I just want y'all to know I'm editing this as I go. Download, we know, has an N. But anyway, you do get a download link for the first, I think, 6 standards. And then maybe, I'm not exactly sure how it's divided, but it was so large that you do get 2 download links. I do get, not lots, but often I hear from teachers to say, I got my links, but I went to download it and it says I got an error message, or it says I've already used all my possible downloads. And what we found happened is that when you get the download, sometimes the district server has to like scan everything before it allows it to come into your email. And so that takes one of the programmed downloads that was there. And then if you double click on it, sometimes that's a problem. So I'm always happy to go into this system and reissue those. I can tell if you're trying to sell it, but I know you aren't, but I can always reissue those links, and I'm happy to do that if you've gotten those error messages. So with that, this is Rhonda in the front, Katrina in the back, and they are the backbone, and we cannot thank them enough for the time they spent 8 months of their life developing this resource. And we are so pleased that there's been few, if any, very, very few edits that needed to be done because they had such attention to detail, and they also, oh, only 4. Okay, Rhonda's saying 4. So they had such attention to detail, and they also had Karen Edwards, another teacher that they had the pleasure of knowing, look over that. So I think they're going to tell you to drop they may have seen, you probably dropped some messages or questions in there, but they plan to make this a casual next 45 minutes. So with that, I'll mute myself and give the microphone to Katrina and Rhonda and enjoy what they have to share.
Okay.
Nancy, there were hi.
No, I was just going to say, Rhonda, will you go ahead and talk about the downloading issue? You said, let's start out with that.
Okay, great. Well, I did want to throw out there to Nancy to hop on into the chat because there were a couple of people that had questions about how to order it and where to go. So I posted the link. The price when you click on the link to go there, it says $500. Well, if your state is an NCHSE member, or if you are, then it doesn't cost $500. And so there's discounts that are applied that Nancy needs to, we need to pipeline all of that information through her, and her and Katrina can look immediately and see if you fall into those categories for that discount. So I just wanted to throw that out there because it's kind of you get blindsided when you first open that, but Perkins funds can cover it. And so far what we're hearing is it's worth it. It's everything we've used in our own classrooms for years. And then we just kind of worked with each other and, came up with some fun stuff. So I am going to, first of all, I have a computer that is a new computer from my district. And so I have not downloaded these yet. So I'm going to actually share my screen while I download them to my desktop, because I would say, with the exception of a file name that should have been PDF, was saved as a PowerPoint as the file name, and so it wouldn't open. And so we realized that one pretty early on. I will tell you, 48 hours before we started before they launched it, I learned a big lesson, and that is there's something called file name pathways. And when the way we had it organized was in so many different stair steps that nobody could download a lot of it, because the names that were connected to each other were bigger than what most computers will download. So I renamed every file 48 hours before launch, and it was an all-nighter. It was crazy. So the only other problem we've had comes to when you are unzipping these files. And so I know that most people know how to unzip a file. You double click it and unzip, but there's so much content here that doesn't work. And we found that out. And so I'm going to screen share now, and I will not be looking at the chat because I cannot multitask on that level. So I'm going to, where's my share screen? Oh, the host disabled participants.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Done.
I see how it is.
You can now.
Okay.
Sorry.
I'm messing with you. Okay, so here's my screen. Now I do need y'all to speak up if for any reason you do not see my screen here shortly when I'm downloading, because sometimes when it goes back and forth from the web to my desktop, I have to reshare. So I am going to actually download it from our Dropbox location, because that's where all of the stuff was stored. So it's not going to be the same type of link that you get. I'm going to make sure I'm sorry about that. I was there last night. Dropbox. Here it is. All right. And I'm minimizing my screen so I can't even see y'all's faces. All right, so I'm going to right click on this, and it is not going to download. So let me just open it this way. I haven't done this one from the Dropbox but one time. So I think I can. It's not letting me download it. Let me, Katrina, why don't you hop on? I'll stop sharing, and I'm gonna send these to me as an email file so I can download them differently. So go ahead and hop on and be sharing something, because
Okay.
this one's wanting to extract them all straight out of here. So I'll stop sharing and you hit it, and then I'll tell you when I'm ready.
Okay, I'm gonna share the AR thing. We had a request to share the augmented reality. So I don't want to freak anybody out that feels like they're not comfortable with technology. But this is one of those things that meets the needs for distance learning for simulation. And this is something that's already done that you really don't have to know anything about augmented reality, virtual reality, whatever. You really don't. I tried this out on my non technology loving sister. I just gave her the instructions that I wrote and I said, here, try this. So I'm going to screen share the directions that are in the, let's see. Okay. All right. So hopefully you can see that. And I just have it pulled up. Let me blow that up a little bit. Okay. So here's what it looks like. All right. So it's got 2 YouTube videos that are really good, and you really need to look at those first because it makes a little more sense. My sister got it to work without looking at those. So you really only need to download the Google Expeditions app on your phone. That's the easiest thing to do. And you know, all your students have a phone. So you don't have to get it working on their devices. You don't have to know all that kind of stuff, but your students know how to work their phones and they know how to find the Google Expeditions app either on whatever phone they have. So that's one of those good things that you don't have to teach the students about technology. They already know. So when you download this app, I highly recommend that you only use the AR. Okay, so it'll give you a choice in here. These are screenshots from my phone. Okay, so when you select AR just means that it puts an image over reality. You literally have your phone and you're looking through your phone and you're pointing it at the thing and it lays it out on there. So, like I said, download the app, pick AR. All right. Then you print out the markers. If you're looking at my picture, you can see this is what the markers look like. No big deal. You can also get it to work from this image on a computer. You don't have to print that out. So let's say, for example, if you emailed these marker images to your students, they could use their phone, point it at their computer, and get the same thing to work. But I'm going to show you what it looks like in just a second. So you put those markers out if you're face to face. I don't think the markers have to be in color. That's a really good question because they're basically all the same. They're just different colors, kind of, sort of. Anyway, it doesn't give you anything different. Let's see. So in the app, you pull up whichever experience you want. And as you can see, this has got the ear, it's all different subjects. Then again, you select view in AR. So here's what it looks like when you pull up as a view in AR. So you have 2 choices, view in AR or guide. And I think some of our teachers that tried this picked guide instead of view in AR. When you choose to guide, that means you're guiding what the students see, and there's a technical reason why that doesn't work as well. And that reason is that you have to be on the same Wi-Fi, and that's just not going to be possible. So pick view in AR, hold the device up to the marker. This is a screenshot from my phone, and you can see my messy desk. You literally point the device at the marker. You'll see these dots. You tap it, and then the image is going to come up. It's 3D. You literally can walk around it, tilt your phone around it to see. I'm going to show you that in just a second. You're going to be really impressed that I can show you this live time. Okay. And so here's a different one. This is, well, it's just a different view. It's the ear, the different signals. It gives you lots of cool things to look at. And this one is actually, I think, the skeletal system.
Ooh,
Okay.
like
All right.
that.
So, all right. So where did my thing
Katrina, I have a
go?
question. There is a question about, they don't have to be in color, do they? The
No.
markers? I didn't think
No,
so.
they
Okay. All right. Yeah. Patty Stewart.
Okay. All right. So I am going to actually live cast from my phone. So fair warning, Rhonda, don't message me or it'll pop up. Whatever you want to tell me about Nancy, don't message me right now. Okay. So this is really my phone. If you can look at it in the middle of the screen, and I'm sorry that it's I might be able to get it to share just a tab, but anyway. All right, so I'm going to pick view in AR. Okay, so this is really me. I'm going to show you. This is really me live. Okay, so pointing my phone around. Don't look at my messy desk. Look, check it out. There's the marker. There's the dots, and I'm going to just tap it. Check that out. So that pops up on your phone. Again, don't look at my messy desk. And you can walk around that, and you're looking at a cell. This is the organelles one. And you can peel back the layers. Look, ooh, isn't that cool? This is really cool right here, where you're looking at the underside of the cell.
I have to spend more time with this one. I've pulled it up a couple of times. She's so good at this stuff. This was like, we balance each other out pretty good.
Okay, so like here's a different shot. So there's the nucleus. It's a closer view of the nucleus. And again, you don't have to know this technology. You don't. Your students will have a field day with this. And it's free. I forgot to say this is free, but there's the mitochondria. Check that out.
One
Yes.
question, are things labeled?
Labeled. They are, let's see.
There's places I think you can go to like touch different parts of it, and I don't remember. It's been a little bit since I messed with it.
Yeah.
We're just starting body systems or getting into,
Ooh, look at that. That's cool. Okay, and let's see. I don't want to take up all our time, but man, I just
We
love
have
this. It's so much fun.
I do have my stuff whenever we get there. You can just say, hey.
Hi, okay, let's see. All right, so there is AR and VR for a lot of these, and you can, like I said, just scroll through and
Patty,
see.
there's
Ooh,
different markers for different images and diseases and body systems. So you go in and print the markers for the ones you want. But this doesn't just apply to
I
anatomy,
think it's the same markers for all of them.
is it?
Yeah. So VR, so you can do VR in a lot of different things. So VR, you just need to get like something and simulate with goggles. Okay, so like I said, there's lots of different things in there, and we've highlighted the ones in the enhancements, but really you could just type in, let's see, lungs. Okay, like the respiratory system is in VR. And you can choose to use it with the little, oops, and that's not showing up now, is it? Anyway, oh, there it is. Okay, I'm just gonna stop there, but just take my word for it and only do the, yeah, only do the AR.
Katrina, what's the file letter that those are found in?
If
I don't
you
remember. I think it was technology.
trying to remember, I want to say it's in the first one with all the systems. You just search Google Expeditions.
Yeah, well, in all of the body systems, it'll have a section in there for AR or VR, but her instructions and her how-tos fall under, I guess, we'll see it in a minute because I'm going to download the files. So I'm going to minimize, let's see, I'm going to start sharing my screen now. And I have everything worked out here. And so you guys tell me if you can't see me. You should be seeing my File Explorer window right now, fully open. Is that what y'all see? All right, can y'all see curriculum enhancements down where my downloaded files are?
We can.
Okay, good, because I can't see y'all. So yeah. All right, great. All right, well, so here's my files, and it's under my downloaded files. And the one thing that drives me crazy about Zoom is that it, and I know there was a way we could like move that taskbar, but and it always gets all up in my browser and it makes me mad. So I'm gonna maximize this screen, and the first thing I personally do is I create a folder for stuff. So under my document, I'm actually gonna do it on my desktop. I'm gonna right click and I'm gonna make a new folder, and I'm gonna put enhancements. And so some of you, you may not even know that you're missing files. That's what we figured out here. So if you're missing files, you may not even know about it because there we go. I'm going to drag these over to my desktop. There they are. And so they should just show up. All right, so here's my curriculum enhancements right here. I'm gonna double click and open it. So if you are if you're missing files because you didn't go through this process, you probably don't even know it. But I will tell you, if you didn't do it, then you're missing a lot of content out of there, and some of the links won't work either that are in the margins of the outline. So normally you just double click on something and extract it. Well, on these, do you see up on this toolbar, there's extract all. If you do not click this, then you're going to have files dropped. So if you click this, yes, I've already said, do it, extract it. It's going to take it a minute. So in just this file alone, along with all of the outlines and PowerPoints and tables of contents, this one has almost 750 things in it. So I'm going to minimize that, and I'm going to go ahead and start working on the other one. So it should be here. I'm going to double click this, and these are going to be the last ones. It popped back up. Okay, this is the extracted folder. So these are the last ones, and again, I'm going to hit extract all. And it's honestly a step I didn't even know existed or was necessary until we did this. And once we did this and people were having trouble and saying they were missing some files, I was like, there is no way. So I had them send me the direct link that y'all get. And I went through trying to download it. And that is when I found it. And so there's also this, if you try and download it straight to your Google Drive, I think there's a process you have to go to make sure you're extracting everything. I don't know about Macs. That's something I don't know a lot about, but there is they do have web support and tech support through NCHSE to help them work out these issues. So I haven't had any issues that I'm aware of from Mac users, but in a few of the downloads, there were some, if they went straight into Google Drive and didn't go through the extract all process, there were just some things that were missing. So I'm gonna open up the first one here. Okay, so someone had asked where the files were for AR and VR. So here you see C and D, or D and E is gonna, can y'all see my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. There's augmented reality, virtual reality, and Katrina really breaks down the markers and instructions and how to do stuff, and she even has some great photos in there. So when you go back to let me go back. Here it is. When you open up your standard 1, where it has all of the systems, you can go in here like with intake inventory system, and like Katrina was saying, if you open the start here, what you're going to find is a table of contents, and you can open that up and it tells you every single activity that we have. It tells you where to find it, everything that you should be seeing. So there's an outline, and in these outlines, it's super important for us to let you know that originally when we started the development of these was back in, well, when we were chosen to do this project, we hit the ground running, and that was early February, I think. And so I hit everything that was having to do with body systems. Then in late March, mid-March is when we all went virtual. And so we were hammering out the standards 1 through 6 during the epidemic, when we were all, well, she already teaches from home, but I was losing my mind. So our original plan is that every single thing we had, we were tying into a link over here that matched up with where you could use it at along the way. And the icons would be, you see this icon, it's digital. If you go down and see, there's some of the other units, you'll see some that have a little printer on them, and that means that you can print them, and some have a little group of people. That's a group activity. So originally we wanted to hyperlink every single thing here to take you directly to that file within this folder. But once we started using Dropbox as a shared place to put everything, you can't do that. You can't hyperlink documents from Dropbox into other documents within the file, so that we had to scratch it all. So let me explain. I just want you to know that like anything here that is in black letters with an underline is not a hyperlink. It was originally, but we had to unlink it. Anything that is in blue, and if you hover over it, it says, you can right click on it and open hyperlink. Those are going to be your links. And if you cannot do that, if you cannot hover over these that are in blue and see that hyperlink, then you did not extract the files the right way. So that's the biggest thing that I was able to see, is people were saying, the hyperlinks aren't working. And I got on a screen share with a friend of ours and went through the process with her. And she said, oh, okay. She re-downloaded it all, extracted it all. The link showed up. She could hyperlink to everything. So that's a lot of what's been going on. So I'm going to unscreen share. I'm going to check out the questions, and I'm going to let Katrina hop in if she needs to, and maybe hit on something that y'all have asked while I've been talking. Are there any questions now that I'm back in here?
I really want to share the poop lab right quick.
Please do that. Please share your poop.
Okay. So somebody that we know messaged us on social media and said, I got observed today and I pooped in front of my principal. Thank you for helping me poop in front of my principal. It was awesome. And the students loved it. So I'm screen sharing. This is an activity in the enhancements. So I just want to encourage you. I know everybody's busy. If you can only look at the outlines in each section, the outlines list all the activities. And this is one of those. This is something you could do virtually because everybody has some vinegar, some paper cups, some bread, whatever. This is something you could encourage students to do. So it's an activity that I think that I saw on YouTube or something, but I tweaked it a little bit, and you mix these things together, and each step is simulating the digestive process, and then you mix the stuff together, and then you add in some vinegar, which is supposed to be the digestive enzymes, and then you mash it up, and then you run it through like a sock or something that absorbs the moisture out of it, and then what comes out of it, it really looks like poop. And like I said, I think this is something that your students would really love that they could do at home, and they would love to take pictures and share it with everybody. So again, that's the poop lab, and that's gotten some rave reviews so far. So
Katrina, we spend so
yes,
much time, I know on all of our webinars and some of those individual help sessions we've done, we spend a lot of time on standard one, which is huge.
right,
Academic foundation.
true.
That's where all the body systems are, where Rhonda drew the short straw, I think, and had to do I'm kidding. She said she started on those. But is there something in maybe one of the other standards that you're extremely proud of that you'd
So
like to
much.
show?
Yes, there is. So I'm not screen sharing so that I can pull that up. Um, I would love to share actually some of the things that we put together to help you. Oh, yes, especially this one. Okay. So, you know how when we are teaching, we spend a lot of time helping our students read and with vocabulary and things like this. This is something you can use absolutely in every single class that you have. You know, we like to incorporate current events. And you know, students, a lot of them, for whatever reason, cannot write a summary of what they read in an article, right? If you got your camera on, wave your hand and say, Yes, Lord. Okay, so this is a graphic organizer. And if you know any literacy specialists, this is something that they say will help students a lot when they have trouble putting their thoughts together. So, a graphic organizer, you can send this to your students in a file, or you can print this out on a piece of paper and say, Here, find a current event, and it will help them pick that article apart. They can write those parts on this paper or type in it or whatever, and then the end results are on the far right, their notes, and then they can put that together, and that's a summary of the current event. And this will save you from having to teach them how to write paragraphs and that kind of thing. But really, it's okay to teach literacy the way we use it in healthcare. I know that we try real hard to get our students just to spell things correctly, but the literacy experts have told us it's okay to teach our students to write in bullet points and to be able to read test results and lab reports because that is what literacy looks like in healthcare. Oh, the organizer is in the classroom help files. I think it's Rhonda. It's one of those very beginning files. Also, let's see. I'm going to share this one. It's a sharing protocol. So, you know how when you have students discuss things in class, and it's really hard to keep them organized sometimes. These are all the protocols that our regular education friends use for getting students to, in an organized way, discuss things in class. For example, fishbowl. This is a good one. A smaller group of students discuss a topic while the rest of the class observes the process and they take turns entering the fishbowl to participate in the conversation. That would be a good one to use when you're doing cultural perspectives and things like that. You don't want everybody talking at the same time. Or think, pair, share. If you hear that one a lot, you tell students to think about it to themselves and then turn and partner up with somebody else and then share out to the class, well, we talked about it and we think this is stupid or whatever. Let's see.
I've got a great
Well,
one. Let me screen
okay.
share for a sec.
Yeah, go
Oh,
ahead.
there's your merge paper cube. All right, there's now I could
Oh,
go on for days about the Excel spreadsheets that have
yes.
all of the practice tests, but I'm not
Yes.
going to do that. I'm going to go to something else that I haven't talked about yet.
No?
Believe it
Okay.
or not.
All right.
So I'm going to share my screen, and this is something because I am a respiratory therapist, and so one of the big things that I am passionate about is sleep health and sleep hygiene, and putting your stupid phone down and not keeping it by your bedside and waking up to it all night. And we do like I really, really home in with students on how what happens when your body doesn't sleep. It's a big deal. So this is going to be found in your Foundation Standard 9 Health Maintenance Practice, and it's the exercise, nutrition, and sleep. And I do have a really cool. There's one that I think actually Katrina, one of us did this one. Drowsy driving, but healthy sleep at a glance. This is a great article about healthy sleep, and then we have the where did it go? Okay, and then there's a sleep hygiene project, and I loved this one. It's in PowerPoint form, but you can open it. You can print a lot of it, and so this is just me because it was a specialty of mine that I went and go through and explain sleep hygiene to them. And then there's going to be a link explains REM sleep cycles. It explains your circadian rhythm and things you can do to improve it. And then you can go to these hyperlinks within here, and there's some white noise apps that you have, but there's a sleep diary here that they can use to, and my hyperlink's not working. So going straight to it, I may just, I just have it on the end. I hyperlinked it to here. So here's your rubric, and then here's the links that are in there, apps that they can do. And I won't spend any more time on it, but as far as something we've not really talked about much within the enhancements, we really haven't talked about that one at all. And there's a mental health, also alternative and complementary medicine has been changed from that history of medicine unit that everybody was spending a lot of time on in standard 1. It's not that it's gone. We've had a lot of people ask us, what about history of medicine? I love history of medicine, and it's just kind of been spread out through different areas, and there's not as much of like this big humongous time frame spent on it. There's kind of split it up around some other things, but here's a lot of things about how socioeconomics can impact people and their level of health care or their level of health in general. And so there's just some really good stuff in here, and we put those in there because that is the kind of stuff that we struggled with. And as an educator, I really had to dig around and find stuff that was fun and technology savvy. And so those were a couple of the things that I did struggle with in the classroom, just trying to find something I liked. So there it is. You go.
Okay, we have about 10 minutes. It looks like do you want to show
That's
something?
fine. No,
No,
that's fine.
go ahead and show it. And then I'll just warn them that we have about 10 minutes. And so, really think about what questions you might have. But Katrina, back to you.
Okay. I was just going to say systems is such, I'm sorry, Nancy, a boring subject. And systems is what my students always did poorly on in the assessment, the national assessment. So we worked really hard to put some projects in there that would get your students really engaged. And, we have the presentations and everyone, but now I have this on my Google Drive. So if you're wondering what it looks like and why it looks kind of crazy, we actually made some videos that will explain it for you. Um, we focused on payment. We came up with some diagrams. Now I know that you all are smart folks and you can do this on your own, right? You can make this all up too. But we're already stressed. We ain't got time for this. But the enhancements, we went ahead this summer. We were thinking ahead for you, trying to think of things that would help you visually lay out some of these concepts. I see you laughing, Rhonda. But children do well with a visualization of concepts. So you don't have to know what a Venn diagram is or a Freyer model or whatever. You can just pull up these diagrams and say, okay, kids, like this one, for example. Okay, Medicaid and Medicare. Type in here things that are only true about Medicaid, things that are only true about Medicare. Now type in things that are true about both. It's just some things like that that we put in there to make your life easier because it's already, yeah, not good.
Yep.
But
What
hopefully
can
it will
we
bring us together.
answer in this last 10 minutes? I'm just gonna throw this out there. We knew this was one of the hardest units or standards to teach and
Mhm.
find stuff. And so when we submitted our proposal, this is the one we used.
That's
Because
true.
it is stress. And, when we're discussing whether we're going to do this, and I said, let's pick whatever, let's look through them and let's find one that everybody hates and let's kill it. And so she killed it. We killed it. And we hope it
Right.
helps.
So we'll stop there. Just know that we know nobody's has had time to look at everything, and we expect that you're still going to be diving in, and that's why we just put all the goodness that we could stuff in there. So what are your questions? I see
Let's
the
see.
chat is blowing up a little bit.
Can these PDF files be converted to Google Docs? Yes. When you yes. Everything once you download and extract all the files, then you can upload it to your Google Drive, and because they've been extracted, you'll just have to click open with and either Google Slides or open with Google Docs or something like that. So oh yay, Janet. Oh, see, that alone is worth it. That is worth it right there. I don't know how many people who have purchased these enhancements just have not downloaded them correctly.
Yeah, I also got a message, because I'm multitasking, got an email from Patrice, and she said, oh my gosh, I thought I had wasted my money because I was like, is this all there is? So I'm hoping if there's other folks on this call that are, or that listen to this webinar at a later date, if they're doing that, is this all there is? Then you must know that customer service is really first and foremost for us. So you just reach out to me. We trust teachers, and we also understand that as health science teachers, we aren't all as tech savvy as our friends Rhonda and Katrina. And so we can reissue those links. And Patrice, I'm happy to do that for you. And for anyone else who thinks they missed a step with that. But it looks like Janet was able to go in and do it. She had downloaded it correctly, but she just hadn't extracted, right? Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Right. And
Yeah.
I mean, y'all, I cannot tell you how many people probably don't understand. Unless they spoke up and emailed Nancy about it,
Well,
or called one of us if they knew us. There's so much content, y'all, that's there. We don't want you to miss it.
okay. What other questions we have? We have about 6 more minutes. We want to be respectful of everyone's time, but we also don't want to leave you hanging if there are questions you have for these famous people, Katrina and Rhonda.
There's a question in the chat. How do we get the updated information? So right now there's only 2 or 3 things that had to be changed. And Nancy, what is the procedure that we've come up with?
Yeah, I thought that that maybe we're going to wait just a little longer, so that it was really 3 things, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's it.
It was just 3 things. And so what I'm thinking, like, we'll call it like kind of like the end of semester, we can go in and we can download all the purchases through our tracking system, and then we'll send that out to you all. Just keep in mind though, if someone ordered it beside yourself, we try to remind people that even if you're a bookkeeper, or I don't know if that's politically correct or if that word is used anymore, but if your office person's ordering it for you, that the email links went to them and then they had to forward those to you. And so we may not have your name. So if we send something out, and we try to catch that if we can, and make sure that we have the teacher's name and email address, as opposed to the person in the office who doesn't feel as passionately about this as you do. So we're thinking maybe end of December, 1st of January, we'll have any more edits. Like I said, we're so blessed. There's been so few, but we'll send those out to everybody that we have on file that's purchased those. I see Katrina, we put the pressure on them.
I'm gonna show y'all one thing that another big step I think people miss, and I did put something in the chat asking if you guys wanted me to show you the practice the practice assessments, but we as teachers and the people that are purchasing this, we automatically just assume, oh, I can just navigate this. I don't need to go through these first few folders. And they're there because they are that essential and they are that important. That the general classroom help and this one right here, though, the start here, that has so much stuff in it. I'm going to click on the web resources by category. And I'm telling you right now, these alone have been the game changers for me. One is just anatomy. One is all health science stuff, anything health science. This one is stuff for creativity that teachers and students can use. And these are web resources that for teachers that you can use for classroom management or quizzes or something like that. And so it's like, we didn't want to recreate things that already existed. There's no reason for that. So several of these are all virtual surgeries. They're everything that case studies, lessons, KenHub, a bunch, ICEV, a bunch of these, like this goes on and on and on. And these are all the virtual autopsies, phenomenal. And so these are things that exist in there that we didn't want to reinvent everything. There's no reason for it. These are resources where there's existing lessons already created for you, just articles, everything. That all of these sites right here have stuff that you can use. If you don't see it in the enhancements, it's here because their stuff is phenomenal. And so we don't want you to miss out on those resources. But I also realize that it's hard to navigate through everything that there is.
And Rhonda?
Yeah.
I just wanted to say right quick that we have double checked the copyrights on everything in the enhancements, and that the links that Rhonda shared are things that are already out there that certainly some of you could find on your own, but we've already put it there for you in one place. And we had a lot of companies, over the pandemic sharing things for free. So there's a chance that maybe a couple of those links are not working anymore, but really I think all of those are extremely current because we checked every one of those this summer. And we want to thank AES because they shared some of their material with us and gave us permission to put it in the enhancements for you. And there were a couple other companies that did the same thing,
Cengage,
but
Delmar, Pearson.
thank you.
Cengage,
But
Delmar, and Pearson.
the AES Bree, who's on the call today, she's from AES, so we just want to
Yeah.
make sure we say thank you.
AES were
And
great partners.
and the
Katrina,
images.
Go
Sorry,
ahead.
I
Images.
just want to say the images that are in the presentations, we wrote the presentations as PowerPoints, and the images are copyright free from the Creative Commons. So I just don't want you to worry about putting some of the using that and getting gigged at your school about breaking copyrights. Okay.
No.
Okay, I see that Rhonda did answer. There was a question from Ann, and then Stacy kind of piggybacked on that about virtual clinical experiences or shadowing, and then Rhonda to check is standard 10 technical skills. I will also, in closing, say that the consortium has a wonderful relationship with all of our publisher partners and those who have educational resources, whether it be models or mannequins. And we're not looking to take the place of those wonderful classroom resources that they develop for you. So this is why we call this an enhancement, and we aren't looking to break relationships with any of those folks. We do have one other resource that we're going to update. The enhancements is one, and then we have another resource in our online store. And for now, it's called the Work-Based Learning Guide. And we know that that guide is in dire need of an update and a refresh to match with current practice, as well as the new Perkins definition for work-based learning. So today we are releasing an RFP to all of our go-getter kind of teachers that might be interested in taking on that project. And that resource will be hopefully refreshed, revised, and available in our online store for the next academic year, which would give a release date of August 2021. So if you're interested in hearing more about that opportunity or submitting a proposal for that, we've pushed it out to our state leaders to share with teacher networks. We'll also share with all of our Health Science Educators Association members if they would like an opportunity to be famous like Katrina and Rhonda as well. So we're looking for that. And anybody who purchased that resource in this calendar year, we sent you a full disclosure to say, we understand this is not to the level that we need it to be for the year 2020. And so they will be able to purchase that at just if it goes up $50, then they'll only have to pay the additional $50 to get that whole new resource for the next school year. So just wanted to throw that out there. That's our plans for the future for the work-based learning. Okay. Rhonda and Katrina, any parting messages for our teachers?
Just thank you. I mean, we have built a lasting friendship through this. We were already friends before it, but between us and Nancy and the great support from Nishi, and we are always around. We ask you to filter any questions through Nancy, and then if she needs to reach out to us for details on stuff, we can definitely get back with her. But we hope you like it, and maybe we can do this again if other questions come up. Unmute yourself, Katrina Haynes. There you are.
Yeah, thank you all for joining us, and we know there's going to be some more questions. We're not going anywhere. Just reach out to us and we'll be glad to help you out.
Awesome.
Okay. Have a good rest of your evening, everyone. The work-based learning proposal will be posted on our website in the on the work-based learning resource page. So if you want to share that far and wide, that's where it'll be. Okay. Thanks, everyone.